Hi, thanks for joining me, Pumpkin. Hi there. It is Sunday. I think it's October 5th. Anyway, we are on season 1, episode 8 of the Joe Dispenza series called Rewired. And this topic is fantastic. It's about building quantum coherence. It's all about quantum mechanics and quantum physics. And I just want to say good evening, welcome. If you're new, we talk about how to be your best self. I talk about how I'm trying to be my best self, and I'm sharing tips that I've learned. And I hope you can use some of the stuff. But this is a really fascinating series. It's on Gaia, and they have a special right now for Gaia for 99 cents for the month. It's a great deal, and you can check out the entire series. I believe it's 13 episodes of Rewired with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And again, this is episode 8, so it's my commentary on that. So I'm going to share some of his information that I took from it that I thought was very valuable, and then I want to share my thoughts on that. So good evening if you're just joining us. Cheers to you. And Pumpkin, thanks for joining me. I'm T. Waldron, by the way. This is my cat Pumpkin if you're new. Okay. It was pretty cool. I was going for a walk today and I ran into somebody who tunes into the live. So Jimmy, if you're out there, good to see you. Okay, so this is about quantum coherence. And he was saying that our mind affects our physical world. Now, in classical physics, that was established before the early 1900s. And that was based on Sir Isaac Newton's principle. You know, the apple fell on his head and he figured out gravity from that. Classical physics was based on Newton's principles. The physics of predictable, or the physics of large objects. It was the physics of the planets and gravity and the seeable world at that time. Are you gonna jump, Pumpkin? That's fine. So in this classical physics, hey Jim, welcome. Hi Logo 7-Up, welcome. In this physics, it's the physics of the predictable, and it's things are typically moving in a smooth fashion, okay? And they're predictable. And this is how we navigate in our world. You know, we use gravity, we use various things with velocity and things like that. So that's the classical physics, okay? And then in the early 1900s, a little patent clerk named Einstein came along and shook things up. He had some theories along with Max Planck, and they upended the entire physics concept because they were studying tiny things. They were looking at the subatomic world. So, as you know, we all learned in school, and if you're about my age or so, you saw that the atom had a little nucleus, and then the little electrons were going around it. And that's the model we were taught when we were younger. And that was common belief at the time. But it's a little bit different than that. Let me go back though. The atom was like the sun, and the little electrons were, the nucleus was like the sun, and the little electrons were rotating around it like planets. And that's the model that we are familiar with. They predicted that when they added energy, that the electrons would go toward the center of gravity, toward the center of the nucleus. Like an apple falling from a tree, using the same formula as gravity. But they did not. So that was surprising. Hi, Abraham. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you to Imran Hossain, our moderator. He's a YouTube SEO specialist, and he does a great job creating excellent SEOs for your YouTube channel, but also he moderates our chat, and he does a fantastic job. So thank you so much. Appreciate that, and thanks for the hearts. Yeah, so the electrons didn't behave as they were expected to, the same way as classical physics, which was shocking. Hi, Poran. Love you too. Welcome. They sometimes would gain energy and lose energy, and it was very unpredictable. And this really upended the whole thing because they thought, okay, They'll act like the planets do in the large, smooth orbits, and they would be predictable, but they were not. They were, he compared it to balls bouncing down the stairs. So they would have energy and then not have energy and then not have energy, etc. And it was very unpredictable. It wasn't following the rules. So I compared it to like a slinky. Do you ever have one of those like slinky toys that go down the stairs and then they stop and then they go again and then they stop? I mean, same kind of idea. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you liking the channel. Thank you so much. That's very nice. So he talks about the size of the atoms too. So he says if the nucleus was the size of a VW bug, like the car, okay, so like the size of a small car, the electron would be the size of a pea, okay, so that's a huge difference, right? And the orbit would be the size of the state of Utah or the country of Cuba. That's a huge orbit. That's I didn't envision it that big. Did you? I mean, it just kind of blows my mind how it modified there. Oh, welcome from India, Puran. I appreciate that. Hi, Anjan. Welcome. Oh, great. You have a channel. You could drop it in the chat. Or actually put it in the comments, because I usually don't go back to the chat. I usually check the comments after. Yeah. Imran Hossain. It's Hossain, Hosain, I believe. Anyway, his contacts will be in the comments, in the description, and he is my moderator. So, and he does a great job. Yeah. AABB. Yeah. Hi, James. Good to see ya. Puran, yeah. Well, if you're single and alone, then you know what? You have a person that you can be with and that you can love. It's wonderful to love yourself, you know. Oh yeah, no, yeah, no. I know it's perhaps I didn't pronounce it properly. Woo, the cat could hurt someone. Collar and leash, please. She's 16 and a half years old. I think she's okay. Don't worry, Woo. We sure can be friends. I love to chat with you guys. Okay, so back to this physics though. So if you think about that, the nucleus is the size of a car, the electrons are the size of peas, and the orbit is the size of a state of Utah or the country of Cuba. That's a huge orbit. That's a lot of space. It really put it in perspective, okay? And the model of the atom, when it was the electrons that were moving, did not follow the classical physics model, okay? Yeah. Yeah. This cat's 17 and a half. So he found out too that the field of probability exists as potential. So the electrons were not really appearing until they were measured, and then they would take shape. They existed as potential. Okay? Yeah, today we're talking about quantum physics. This is the 8th episode in the series by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Rewired. It's available on Gaia, and right now they have a month-long subscription to Gaia for 99 cents, which I think is a very good deal for some quality TV shows, and they have yoga, they have meditation, they have a whole variety of pretty good shows on there. So, anyway, so then they began to measure, when they began to measure the electron, it would change form and collapse. So the electrons were just sort of out there and doing their thing, and then all of a sudden when they measured it, it modified. And that was called the observer effect. And it's a thing. It's by us looking at it, by us observing it, it would change physical form, which is mind-blowing, right? Measured in amps, okay. Yeah, I'm sticking to what Dr. Joe was talking about today, but I am studying, I'm going to school for my doctorate in metaphysical life coaching, so we can talk about the theory of relativity for sure, just not today, because I've got 4.5 pages of notes I've got to get through on just this episode. So, but thank you for your interest answer. I really appreciate that, and we will get to it. Hey, welcome. They're just jokes. Yeah, so when they were observed, it would collapse. The wave function would collapse. And that was a quantum event. And that was known as the observer effect. So our subjective mind had an effect on the physical world. On the physical objective world, our mind affected it. Can you imagine that? Also, there's the double slit experiment, which I'm sure many of you may be familiar with. Hi, Herbert. Yes, Herbert, let me see what you said. The way we understand quantum is very limited, as the reality is hard for us to understand. Absolutely. Even Joe's take is very limited. I couldn't agree with you more. Like, yeah, there's many other aspects of quantum physics that I'm learning about, and I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around, because, and this is something I learned recently, our analytical minds can only really comprehend things that we've seen or experienced. Our imagination is from the other part, our creative and our intuitive mind. So it's very difficult. You have to use your whole entire mind to sort of wrap it around these concepts. Anyway, that's a great point. Let me see. It is so weird. Yeah, even Einstein called quantum entanglement, he called it spooky physics, which is true. And two particles, once they, I don't know if they become entangled, I think that they're near each other or they're split from each other, even if they're 7 miles away. If you did something to one, the same thing would happen to the other one. And no one can explain it. Even physicists today can't. They're just like, yeah, we don't know. Imagine that. Like, they don't know. We don't know. Our knowledge is limited on this, and we're learning, but, it's pretty fascinating. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that point, Herbert. I appreciate that. Yeah, Juan. It is weird. Yeah, Buff. No, the cat's real. She's 16 and a half years old. Yeah, limited can be vague. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We're gonna, we're gonna get to a chat about the void. That's right, Art. We don't know what we don't know. That's so true. Yeah. Okay. Back to this. Let's see. So before they were observed, and I don't know how they knew this if they weren't observing them, but the electrons were just floating around in sort of a cloud. And then during the observation, the particles were localized in time and space. The moment the observers took their attention off them, the particle reverted back to the wave function and turned back into energy. So then he asked this question, does it only work for tiny particles? He then spoke about the quantum field, which we are all in the quantum field, which surprised me, because I'm like, what? I'd never heard, I've been studying it, so I have heard of it. But before I started studying this stuff, I didn't know there was a quantum field. I didn't know we're in it. We are. Our matter and energy is all in the quantum field. Yeah. And this all seems like void talk. There is. Hi, Andrew. That's funny. The trap is getting caught in anyone's explanation. Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, come back later. I'm sorry, this is heavy stuff. It is what it is. Okay, so then the quantum field is an invisible field of energy that exists beyond space and time. And he says there are no people, no places, no things, no sensations. It's what you were just probably mentioning, the void. But there's energy in it, okay, and information. It has nothing physical or material. And some scientists also call it the unified field. The unified field is an invisible field of energy that connects and organizes physical matter. So if we think about, let's go back to our lives. When we're stressed out, we're tied to the 3D. We need the known. We need to know, okay, here's my cat, here's my drink, here's my seat, here's here's my, whatever, stool here. This is what I know. When we're in the quantum field, it's unknown. It's just basically the void, it's energy, it's nothingness, it's information, and also the source is there, which I, is God. I think of it as God. You could call it the universe, you can call it the many names, but it's pure love. That's also there. He didn't say that, but I'm telling you, that's what I experienced. So that's a little out of science, but I'm telling you from personal experience, that's what I found. So the quantum field is also known as the unified field, the 0 point field, and everything is connected there, which is beautiful, because in our world, everything is separated. In the material world, especially now with our computers, with our technology, with our lives, we're so separated. And the more we kind of rely on the physical world, the more separate we become. So this is why I find this so fascinating, because our consciousness, we can be united in this unified field. And I'm going to say why in a second. So the energy of the quantum field exists beyond our senses. So what are things, and by the way, cheers. What are things that exist beyond our senses? What do you think? What are some things that you think are in the quantum field? Does anybody have any ideas? Let's see. I'm not sure what the question was. Yeah. Oh, thank you, P. Yeah, Pumpkin, you have some more fans. They like you. She's awesome. She's 16 and a half, and she comes here for the lives for you guys. I have another cat on the floor, Fractal, and she's just chilling over there, but Pumpkin's into this. Yeah. Hi, Cherry Lewis. Hi, Appetite. It's like when you have a stream about someone and they have a dream about you as well. That is, what's that called? I said it earlier. It's like, yeah, when you're on each other's minds, connected, where you're connected. Sorry guys, I'm spacing here. It's been a long day. I don't remember. Anyway, pop it in the chat if you can remember what that's called. I guess you're talking about connecting with our inner self. Yes, I am talking about connecting with our inner self, Herbert. Thank you. Thank you so much. And he gets to that we did talk about that one week in the meditation, where we meditate. He had us do meditations to get into the quantum field and lose ourselves, lose time, lose our identity, just be our soul, our energy, and just try to connect with the quantum field. And it's hard because your brain comes in and says, oh, it's hot in here, it's cold in here, you're hungry, what time's lunch? What do you have to do next week? What about those emails? Like your analytical brain is fighting it, because it doesn't want to lose control. It doesn't want to go into that unknown. It wants the known. It wants the physical. But if you can train it and just say, nope, I'm focusing right now on going beyond the physical and going into this it's spiritual. It's the quantum field. You can attain a lot. It's really gorgeous. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much, Herbert. You're keeping me kind of focused. I love that. Andrew, make a whole video about the cat. I have some long form videos about the cat, and that's the name of my channel, Chatting with My Cat, because she's amazing. Right, Pumpkin? And Fractal, you're amazing too. But you're just not as onto the trail. Hey, Ashley, thanks for tuning in. Synchronicity, absolutely. Those are so magical. Thank you. Oh, hey, Pierre Bike Life. Welcome. Hi, Dick Smith. Welcome. Yeah, my cat's like meditating right now. Are you meditating? She's thinking about tuna. Hey, Andrew. Yeah, you know what? I didn't like science. Well, I liked science, but I didn't really love math, but now I do. It's like there's so many amazing things to math. Like if you can find something that interests you, like I like the Fibonacci sequence because a lot of nature is based on this cool Fibonacci sequence, and also the pyramids are based on sacred math. I mean, there's amazing intelligence in a lot of the stuff in our world that they don't even teach us in school. It would have been so much more interesting if they said, hey, told us some of this stuff, okay? But it's okay, better late than never. And you can, I'm gonna be learning this stuff and then sharing it with you guys. So maybe you'll start loving math like I do too. But anyway, the things in the quantum field, our dreams, our ideas, our creativity, our vibration, our consciousness, our intuition, our awareness, our thoughts, and our frequency. So those can all be found in the quantum field. So that it's worth going there. It's worth making the time to connect with that, because if you don't, our analytical brain is going to keep us in this 3D world and kind of tied to the same routines and not really achieving our potential. If we can use both sides of our brain, we need the analytical, but we also need the spiritual. And if we can use both together, you're limitless, you are powerful, you are infinite. I mean, you can do anything, but also we limit ourselves and we don't even know it. Like, I didn't know I was limiting myself for years. And then learning this stuff, it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, you can do a lot. You can do a lot, and you may not even realize it. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Hey, Bill. Yeah. Okay. Do I teach private lessons? Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I don't. But I'll be putting more stuff on the channel. Thanks for asking. Jung's collective unconsciousness. Yes, that's exactly what this is, Art. I don't know how Carl Jung knew that, but he keyed right into so many of these concepts. And he was actually good friends with a physicist too at the time, which I just learned about. So I thought that was kind of cool. You know, he made friends with a physicist who was coming up with some of these theories. And I just love that when people who are into different topics kind of find a commonality and they teach each other things. It's great. Yeah, currently. Okay. What do we have here? Let's see. So, physical reality is governed by our senses. We said that. Time and our analytical minds. The 3D uses height, depth, width, materials. Okay, the quantum reality uses energy, frequency, vibration, information, consciousness. It's the realm of thoughts. It's timeless. Now here's my take on the whole thing, okay? When I have a dream, my analytical mind jumps in and uses the known, my senses, my experience to predict how and when I'll achieve something. And this takes time. So when I have something I want to do, I'm like, okay, I try to figure out everything I have to do and map it out. When I think about achieving something in the quantum, I focus on the feeling I'll have when I achieve it, not all the steps. And I think that's the key, because our subconscious actually knows a better way to do things than our analytical minds. And we're limiting ourselves. If we try to figure out all the steps and get too much into the weeds, into the details, we may be making it less good for ourselves. So what can get confusing for me, this is where it can get confusing for me, because this is where my analytical mind jumps in and grabs the steering wheel and wants to plot out the course. Let's say I was going somewhere, it plots out all the stops, where I'm gonna go, what the rest areas, let's say it's a drive somewhere, the rest areas, how long it's gonna take, what traffic's gonna be like, everything, the food stops, the gas stations, the routes, alternate routes, everything that could go wrong. My analytical mind jumps in and tries to micromanage, right? And when I stay in the quantum, I focus on what choice do I have at what's the best choice I can make at this exact moment? And then I rely on synchronicities to say, oh, okay, like if a light turns green, I know, okay, that's probably the way I should go rather than this other way that has a roadblock. So it's, if you kind of you work in the quantum, if you can, through meditation, but also then it can carry over into life, then you will be given signs, you will be given synchronicities. You don't have to plan every single thing out. If you set your goal and just say, I'm going to make the best decision I can at every minute and stay present in the moment, then things will appear to you. You might get a gift. Somebody might say, here, I have tickets to this show. Why don't you go here one night? They might say, here, have this meal. I made an extra meal, whatever. You might have a friend who says, hey, you do this for a living, I do this for a living, let's barter, let's trade. Things might show up in your path, and it's your job to be open to go towards your goal, but also to see how the universe is helping you and accept it and be grateful. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's how I've been rolling, and it's been very, very good. Yeah. Hi, Pawan. I'm not sure what you said. I believe spirituality is compatible with science and vice versa. That is a new take, Art, and it's amazing you say that, because I never thought they were compatible, and now I do. I see that they go hand in hand, and not so much religion. You know, if we get too specific about religions, like this is exactly the way we need to do it, but more about spirituality. It's true. I do agree with that. Spirituality and science are compatible. Thank you. Bye, Pawan. Okay. What you experienced is beyond thought. Describing it as being quantum is bringing it back into the domain of thought. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Okay, that's a good way to put it. I wasn't sure, but anyway, I'll continue. Okay, so yeah, that is thought. Good point. But anyway, all the stress and worry falls away. When I do the quantum meditations, all stress and worry falls away. I'm in the border between the alpha and the theta brainwave states. When I can get into that in meditation, it's really beautiful. And the passage of time falls away. I have to set an alarm on my phone if I have to be somewhere and I'm in the middle of meditating, or even in a flow state. You know, if I'm drawing or doing something that I'm enjoying, or just even in the mode, you know, if I'm studying or doing something where I can get into that flow state, I have to set an alarm, because you lose track of time. You just get in there and you're doing stuff, and it's beautiful. And I get so immersed and excited about what I'm doing that time flies. And when I'm in that state, I'm not hungry or thirsty or tired. My physical senses fade, and I'm going within and allowing my higher mind to lead me. And this is the unknown, where all possibilities exist for me. And when we meditate, we can enter the quantum. That's my goal, is to do it. Sometimes those intrusive thoughts come in, but if I can get into the quantum, that's a beautiful meditation. So the quantum gives us access to limitless possibilities, an infinite void, and it gives us access to unknown experiences. So, and then back to Dr. Joe, how do we enter the void? How do we find it? How do we get beyond ourselves? We broaden our focus to energy, vibration, and nothing but information. So just nothingness. It's hard. It's very difficult for me. Sometimes a friend of mine said he just focuses on like a light, like looking at a light ahead, and it gets brighter and brighter. So that I'm gonna work on that probably method next. What do you guys think? Yeah. Yeah, Hi, Billy. Welcome. It's a real challenge trying to convey what you are trying to convey. Thank you so much, Herbert. I appreciate it. I'm trying. I'm still not even sure I fully understand it myself, but I think this is really helpful, having your feedback and everyone's feedback as to their take on it too. So thank you. How would you differ from an analytical perspective to an annotative state? I'm not sure the difference. Annotative, like writing stuff down. So I think that's similar, right? So if you're analyzing or you're annotative, like writing things down, that's what I'm taking that to mean. So are you saying more of a spiritual state? Because that you have, like, when you're in the analytical perspective, your analytical mind is speaking, and it wants to maintain control. And it's trying to help. It's doing its job. That's what it was, that's what it was designed to do, was to protect us and to guide us, okay? But sometimes it takes over, and it doesn't allow our creative mind and our intuition and our other side of the mind to work. Yeah, one from the other. I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe they just jokes. Maybe they develop from another, you know? I would like to go in a different, like, I like to use the whole mind though, you know, because the analytical's got its place, but then we need that creativity and intuition to see all the possibilities. I don't want to just see one way or one way that I think. And the analytical mind only knows what it's already seen. It doesn't create new stuff. So that I learned that this week, and it's really, that's been sticking in my mind lately, is that our analytical mind can only reproduce what it's already seen. It's not going to give you a new perspective or a new direction. Oh my gosh, my other cat is climbing into the planter. Look at her. Oh, where is she? Fractal, what do you do? Hold, I just got to get her out of that planter. Hold on one second. My friend gave me a fig tree. Come on, what are you doing in there? Get out of there. You can't be in the planter. No, thank you. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. She literally climbed in the planter. Oh God, okay. So, let's see, where were we? One from another. Why? Do you truly believe, I don't know, what's the question? Do I truly believe that? That we need both sides of our brain? Absolutely. Yeah, because otherwise, and our analytical mind does try to take over because it kind of runs the show. You know, it's been doing that for quite some time. Yeah, that we've come to see the limitations of the analytical mind. I'll tell you what, just jokes. There was, and I didn't come to this myself. I saw this amazing movie that starred a scientist. It's a documentary, Ian McGilchrist, called The Divided Brain. And that's what opened my mind to this whole concept. I recommend you check it out, Just Jokes. It's on YouTube, I think, for free, because I canceled cable. So it's got to be on one of the free, but called everybody. I mean, check it out. I would love to know what you guys think about it. The Divided Brain by the scientist Ian McGilchrist, IANMCGIL, whatever, Crest. But it was really good because he did talk about the sides of the brain, and he spoke with neurologists and doctors that do brain surgery. And one woman had issues. She was a brilliant scientist, and then she had an accident where half her brain was damaged. And it was really a very eye-opening documentary, and it got me thinking very differently. It was cool, yeah, and it was very watchable. So anyway, thank you though, I appreciate that. Hey Dispeller, welcome from Dallas. I might be missing something. Yeah. Oh, the cat, yeah, she always looks like that, spin of the wheel. That's her face. She's a very disapproving look. And she might be bored. But she never tells me that, so that's okay. So anyway, we allow ourselves to linger in the state. If we can allow ourselves to linger in the state of the quantum possibilities, then more new possibilities can come to us, and we can experience new things in life. So the key is getting into the present moment, but that's the work. We have to not worry about the past, not stress about the future, be in the moment, you know. Tell your body, yeah, I'll go to the bathroom later. I will send that email later. Right now I'm meditating, and really try to pull your mind every time. He says every time you can pull your mind back to the present, you've won. And eventually you'll train your mind to stay in the present. So yeah, hi FC, hi Michael, thank you. Her name is Pumpkin. She is totally plotting world domination. So anyway, so and so this is a quote, these are different ideas from Rewired. It's a series on Gaia with Dr. Joe Dispenza. So he goes on to say, we have to change the habit of our thinking about the past or the future. Our mind eventually surrenders into the present moment. And then he gives us a little checklist here, how to tune into the limitless quantum field. And it's two simple steps. Is it 2 steps? Yeah. One, we have to have a coherent brain, a clear intention. So what do we want to do? Whether it's staying present or maybe manifesting something, whatever you want to do, have a clear intention. The second thing is have a coherent heart, elevated emotion. So a way you can get into this very quickly is by being grateful. Having gratitude helps your heart and your brain get coherent real quick. As long as your brain isn't thinking about anything stressful. It has to be, sort of something positive. When we open our heart, this is how we create from the united field. We create a resonant magnetic field. Oh, and that's our electromagnetic field, which extends 9 feet. And I have a correction here. I used to say it was 9 feet on either side of our body, 3 meters, but it's not. It's 3 meters overall. So, 1.5 meters on either side of us. Okay, so 9 feet circumference. But still, that's pretty good. We send electromagnetic signals that far out. If you ever walked in a room and or someone walked in a room, you might say, oh, they have a good vibe or a bad vibe. Then that could be their electromagnetic field. Let's see, where are we? Hi, Crypto Billy. Yeah, this is Pumpkin. Old treatment for epilepsy was to cut the corpus callosum, connecting the left and right hemispheres. Yes, many studies on the resulting disconnect. Yes, yep, that's true. That's really amazing. Hi, Graham, welcome. Wow, Imran is going to town on these. Okay, goodbye, Lily. I don't know. So, it's very distracting. By the way, thank you, Imran. You're keeping the chat clean. I really appreciate that. What was I saying? Oh, the electromagnetic field. So, when we are in coherence, when our heart and our brain are in coherence, we become more energy and less matter. We can put the thought on our energy, place our intention, our dream, and match our vibe to it, and it will manifest in our world. And that takes belief, that takes practice, but that's what I'm working on now. So, nice spin of the wheel. She's purring, but she may look miserable, but that's her face. Are you happy, Pumpkin? She said she's happy. Okay. So our thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field, and the heart is the feeling, which is the magnetic charge. And whatever we broadcast, we will attract. And we will pick up. So watch for synchronicities. Art said that earlier, and I agree. We are connected. The vibrational match collapses time and space, and it draws whatever we're putting out there back to us. As above, so below. Okay? It's true. So when we send a thought out, we should keep the emotion of it in our heart and take action in coherence. And then you'll attract the things that you're thinking and feeling. You believing it and watching for it is the secret sauce. Okay, that's all I've got on that tonight. That was a lot. That was quantum physics. Thank you all for your patience, and thank you for the new commenters. I appreciate that. Could you give me, I'm not sure what you mean by annotative mindset. Annotative. Yeah, I'm not sure, Just Jokes. I think I might have been saying creative mindset. I don't know. I thought you threw that word in there. I was like, where did that word come from? But anyway, there's the analytical, and then there's the creative and spiritual side. And the creative side, the spiritual side, the intuitive. Maybe that was the word you're referring to. Intuitive, like intuition. Like you have a feeling and then a vibe, and then you go with it. And sometimes things work out even better than when you had planned it. Yeah. There is no vodka, but thank you for asking. Cheers to you. Yeah, that's what it was. Intuitive. Of course, it's just my opinion, but like it works for me. So try it out, you know, if you can, if you want to try something new. I think a lot of times though, your analytical brain is going to do everything it can to remain in charge. Definitely check out that movie because it opened my eyes to this whole concept, and it makes sense. And there were a lot of examples that he put in the movie that were very visual, and that helped me understand the whole thing. Yeah. Annotative is the word. Okay. Oh, hi. Nice to see you. All right, I'll check it out then, Just Jokes, because I didn't mention that. So I didn't say annotative, but because annotative to me means making notes, right? Or perhaps I'm misunderstanding that. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Hey, Lily. Oh yeah, Herbert, you know what? I have a video that I made, and it's my approach. It's what you think of me is none of my business. It's so freeing. I wish I knew that like 50 years earlier. But it's a good way to be. I know the cat is out. She's like, time's up. Okay. Okay, so from the Man Who Knew Infinity is another excellent movie. Okay. All right, so from myself to yourself, have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you again to our amazing moderator, Imran Hossain. He's an SEO YouTube specialist. And also thank you so much to my friends and to the folks that challenged. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. All right, take care. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Cheers. And thank you for comments, Herbert and Art. And everybody else. Bye.